Yeah, kujeni studio tuanze kuongea. What is cooking? Leo nimeona Rigathi Gachagua na our AZIMIO principal Raila Odinga kule Mombasa. Watu wamejiuliza kwani kuna handshake, kwani kunaendaje? I think most people didn't expect that. It came as a shocker. Rigathi Gachagua ndiye alipost on his Facebook page akasema tumekuwa na tete ate engagement. Tumeona pia kumekuwa na parliamentary group ya the ruling party for now, UDA or KKA kule Naivasha. Tumekuwa pia na parliamentary group ya AZIMIO kule Ath River. And yeah, we also have had a tussle. So both groups are claiming the majority. AZIMIO wanasema they are the majority, they deserve to be given the majority slot in parliament. Kule Naivasha, of course, UDA lazima wajigambe, wanasema they have the numbers. If they got all the parliamentary speakers, then they are the ones who have the numbers. So we can say that de facto UDA has the numbers, but de jure AZIMIO has the numbers. If we go by law, AZIMIO has the numbers. If we go by status and politics, UDA has the numbers, or Kenya Kwanza. So you're welcome. You can give your perspective. Wale legal minds, you can tell us whether is the law which is going to win, or is it because they hit the numbers to vote in the speaker, therefore they are going to claim the majority? Are we going to apply the numbers as the coalitions were voted in on 9th, or we are going to consider the post-election coalitions? And knowing very well that the Political Parties Act, I think there was not Political Parties Act, I think it's the AZIMIO agreement. It stipulates that for you to leave a coalition, you need to do that 6 months before election and 3 months after election. So that's why we are talking about de jure and de facto. So de facto, there are people who moved to KA, but de jure, they are still bound by the law of AZIMIO until the 3 months are over. So you're welcome. Let's have your participation. Let me share the link. And for those who are already joining us through the comment section, we appreciate. So talk to us, tell us where you are viewing us from, and we will always appreciate your input. Nimeona Nyambane anasema welcome Wekesa. Thank you so much. Kuna mwingine anaitwa Mam, locked in from Nanyuki. Nanyuki tuko pamoja. Mato, my friend from is it Gangundo ama wapi hapo? Kikuwa Machakos ukiteremka huko chini. Of course, talking from diaspora. Anasema tuko hapo Wekesa. Asante sana. Kuna mtu mwingine hapo anajiita AZIMIO One Kenya Kilgoris. Wow. Kumbe huko tuko na members. Inawezekana. Amesema inawezekana. Ya Mato anasema ako Washington, hiyo iko poa. Felix anasema ako ndani. Uko ndani kutoka wapi? Now let me remind John Ziu. John, you have joined the studio, but you joined immediately before allowing the StreamYard to control your gadgets. So you need to exit, then come back afresh because it's showing device not connected. When you come in, ensure that you allow the StreamYard to control your mic and video before you click enter into the studio. Otherwise, you will be in the studio, but you cannot function because your device is not connected. That applies to all of us. If you are planning to join to the studio, usikuja haraka sana. Ukiclick allow it to configure your gadget. So until it opens and you see your image, that's when you click enter. Lakini bado kama ina process, don't be in a hurry. Itakuletea, utaona mic imeweka mute, then imeweka video mute, and that means you cannot participate. So that is what most people have the challenge. I've seen every day they have the same challenge. Okay, Nyamsi anasema from South Sudan. You are following. Thank you so much. Kumbe tumetamba kila mahali. Aha, Mark anasema hello. Fear Allah. Umewasili kutoka wapi Mr. Azimio? Watu, ni sherehe kubwa sana. Tuko okay since Baba kiko around, so tell us mistari. While Baba was away, what happened? Nimesikia umesema umefurahia Baba is back. So while Baba was away, what happened? Okay, so I hope most of you have listened to what Baba said when he was in Athi River. Alisema hivi. Now you protect me if I say this statement, because he said a very interesting statement. He said that CJ, while she was in her village, alisema Mungu alimpatia hiyo ruling. But according to Baba, huyo hakuwa Mungu, alikuwa Satan. Hakuwa Mungu, alikuwa Satan. So wewe unaonaje hii mambo ya ruling? Unajua UDA wametuonyesha mambo. Hii 2022 tunaongea tu story ya Mungu. Kila kitu hapo kwa politics. Are we trying to fuse religion and politics? As I continue talking, I'm expecting you to join the studio so that we can have a conversation. I've already shared the link. Yeah, nakuja ndani. Huyo ni Bernard Wekesa. Esther Kwamboka, good evening. Good evening, Esther. Mimi nataka kumaliza hapa niende Kesha State House. Mimi nataka kumaliza hapa session kidogo, the next moderator akuje, mimi nataka kwenda Kesha State House. Mark Zamba anasema I'm watching this from Southern Sudan archives. Okay. Sawa sawa, thank you. Kumbe huko Sudani tuko na followers wengi. Gachagua. Wewe ulionaje hiyo picha ya Baba na Gachagua? Body language. Was it accidental? Ama, some people say that there is no accident in politics. There is no coincidence. Alimwezi tu sema ati mlikuja mkakutana hapo airport. Kuna mtu alichora hiyo kitu. Alijua Raila ataingia this time na Gachagua aingie this time wakutane. So if it was not accidental, what political message was it sending? Na nimesikia vitu zingine huko Naivasha. That's why I'm raising my eyebrows. The same language Gachagua alitumia hapo kwa hiyo message yake akituma photos na Raila Ath, I met with a senior citizen. Nasikia Ruto naye anaambia anataka kufunza some senior people akikuwa Naivasha anataka kufunza some senior people how to use spoon na kushika fork. By the way, hata mimi sijuangi ukiingia kwa hoteli kuna kuna fork, kuna knife na kijiko. I don't know how you use them. I think we have the 5th President Ruto said is going kufunza MPs, so maybe we will also benefit from that. I hope hakuwa analima mtu because kuna video ilikuwa ina trend ya State House bash, ilikuwa mbaya sana. Okay, tuko side from Dubai. Sarah, thank you. Ramadhan anasema I'm watching from Doha, Qatar. Thank you. Alafu Idi anasema live from South Sudan. Is it South Sudan or Southern Sudan? We need to know. Simon Andung anasema there is need to introduce electoral college where each county has electors according to the number of constituencies in each county. 2 regions cannot determine the will of the people. He's echoing my mind. I think I said this some few days ago, and I said, unajua tunaweza sema Kenya ni kidogo, we don't need a federal government. But federal government's address most of the time is if the society is not homogeneous, it's heterogeneous. Like America has different groups of people. Kenya, we also need to see how do we ensure that everybody feels part of the government. And that idea of either electoral college, we have been doing it in our education system. It's called quota system, where you have to ensure that whether you studied in Harambee schools or in national schools or in provincial schools, you have an equal chance to join, whether it's college or university. High school, then college, and then university. So that quota system makes sure. And this issue, Najua, featured so much in the Supreme Court when they were discussing about turnout and percentages. By the way, we cannot just talk about mean. For us who studied statistics, we also know that there are different types of mean. There is what we call weighted mean. The weighted mean is different from the arithmetic mean. So when we talk about we want the strength of all tribes to be reflected, maybe we may not use the normal arithmetic mean and determine the winner. Let's have the weighted one that we balance and get the weight where all Kenyans are represented. Anyway, I have one guy here, anaitwa Your Gift Creates. Is that a name or a sentence, my friend, or a paragraph? Your gift does what?
Yes, today I'm entering without of complication.
Your gift does what?
Your gift will always create your purpose.
Yes, today I'm entering without of complication. Your gift does what? Your gift will always create your purpose. To get out and come back. There are a lot of records. Maybe you have opened so many pages. You need to just switch off your phone or your gadget. Just switch it on and end up the video. You have opened so many pages and so there are echoes. Uko na mic kama mbao hivyo. You know, when you open so many pages and you enter the studio, umefungua kama mic kama 5, 6 hivyo. So when you start talking, kunakuwa na echo. So to mitigate that, you either delete all those pages or you just switch off your phone or your laptop and then you switch it on again. Fearless anasema hot air. Ya nini tena? Huko Supreme Court tumetoka wewe. Hello, Rhoda.
Hi, how are you?
Enda kesho State House. Mimi ninaenda kesho State House.
Wow, utaenda kesho State House. Are you welcome?
Yes. Lazima
That's
niende
amazing.
kwani. Niko nini? Mimi sio mganga, nitaelekamiwa.
State House, it's for everyone. They told us we can go and eat muchere and wari, so we can go there.
Sawa sawa, niambie.
But I don't think so.
Have you watched our news today?
Yeah, I'm still worried about Kenya so much. Actually, I don't know, because how things are going on, I don't feel peace myself. I don't know what to do to get peace. It started yesterday when they moved the potty. It makes me sad. Still, I need to be healed, because, you know, when you come like a new president, you need to take it easy with life. And then, because, or you know, because I remember when the president who became the State House, and it was a real president, Mwai Kibaki was there. He didn't go immediately and change things what Mwai Kibaki was doing. He continued because he respects Mwai Kibaki and he value. So I think we need to have a humanity each other, and to respect one another, and to give peace each other, because we need to respect former President Uhuru Kenyatta. He did an amazing job. He was a kind person. He loved peace. He didn't like the problem. No, okay, nobody perfect. We do fail sometimes, but it's not funny when they are changing things like potty. So I still get sad. I don't know what to do. Really, sometimes when I think about that, I feel almost crying, because many people, they lose job. There are some people, they, you know, because we need unity in our country, to hear one voice, you know, to humanity each other, to hear one voice, you know, to be unity. Even politicians, even if somebody do wrong, still you just let go, you know, and that only can make our country move forward. But still, I don't get peace of mind. I don't get, I don't know when I will get healed, because I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I talk sometimes. I talk alone. I talk with God. I just tell God, do something in our country. I trust God. I just tell God, you take over that country and step. You know, we take a step and step. And God can come and heal our land, because many people are painful. Many people are sad. You know, the beginning, where, especially when the first time I get sad, when they went to the Kasarani, they were not. Gachagua was not doing well speech. They were attacking the former president. They didn't show him love. Still, I'm paining, because they didn't show him like, I feel almost everybody was rejecting him. They did show him he's very important, because even if you don't love somebody, you know, I remember one time I was fighting with my own brother, and I called him bad name, but later on I was regretted. Why did I do this? Okay, he did a mistake. He didn't do the right. But I was calling him. Later on, I was crying. God forgive me. You know, I was knee down to tell Jesus to give me, because I'm worried. You feel sad. You know, he's my brother. You know, why do I tell him that? You know, even sometimes, I remember one time I met one woman. She was very rude for me. She's a white woman. She called me bad name, and then I was almost very angry with her. I was talking, but later on, I was crying. Why do I do that? So let us, people, we need to have the heart of feelings, other people, and when we do mistake, we understand ourselves. Why do I do this to my brother, because we are all brother and sister, whether you are AZIMIO, whether you are Kenya Kwanza, we are all brother and sister. We are all Kenyans, no matter who you are, no matter the county you come from, no matter the language you speak, we are all brothers and nobody perfect. We need each other because we can build our country. We can make our country move forward. Like today, I saw one man, I think he's from Bugoma. He's from, he was very angry with the president, former president Uhuru. He's called Dasma. He's very angry. The man was murdered in Bugoma. I ask myself, why people, they hate, then, you know, I saw the picture that many people, they don't like President Uhuru, they don't like him, many tribes, they don't like him. I don't understand why they hate him. They don't see positive about him. You know, we need to see positive for people, you know, like the country I'm living, there is a things you cannot call a politician, like go to hell. You cannot, even if you're opposition side, you cannot tell other person, go to hell. Because, you know, I remember we had the prime minister of this country, he was so bad, you know, he was not, I didn't like him. So I was all the time angry with him, but I could not, he's very kind, but as I was saying, he's kind, but he's not doing he could not like unity us, because all what we need unity, because like this country I'm living, most of the foreigners, they live their own side, black people, you know, and we need each other because segregations can work. So I was asking myself, why do he separate, you know? So, but I could see other things. He is kind, you know? So it's not good to look somebody all the time negative, negative, negative. So I'm asking where we are going as Kenya people, have that hatred that you have regime, you have to do. So we need a lot of, I don't know, our country needs, everybody need to be humble. We need to humble each other, I think, because we can make our country move forward. We need to humble each other. We see nobody, we are all sisters.
Rhoda, turudisha kwa home science kidogo. President Ruto alisema mambo ya kukula na spoon. Alikuwa anamaanisha nini? Anataka kufunza ma MPs kukula na spoon na fork na kisu. Hawajui.
I listen to him. I think he means because maybe they are new member of parliament, they don't have knowledge. Maybe that's what he means. They need people who mentor them. If I try to translate,
Ama
I don't
kuna
know.
watu walienda state basho wakamuembarrass.
Maybe kuna watu wengine wametoka villages hawajaitumia nini fork and knife. Hata mimi pale nimetoka. The first when I came to Europe, I didn't know how to use knife and fork. So it was embarrassing. So I can understand that, you know, when we come from the villages, we eat ugali with the hands, we use a spoon. Maybe some people, they come from villages, they have never, you know, many people, they are, you know, maybe you have never been a member of parliament, you have never, maybe some people, they didn't know how to use the fork and knife when they are eating lunch in the state house. Maybe that's what he means, if I try to translate. So they need to teach them, because Kenya Kwanza is like a unity, they're one community, they can teach other. If I try to translate, I don't know really what I can say.
Okay.
Is it like that?
So,
did I do a great job?
Yes. Thank you. Your gift. Bado I think you're on a call. So your gift, how are you?
I'm very fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Tuambie leo umesikia udaku gani? Rigathi Gachagua
Rhoda,
alikutana na
how are
baba.
you? I like the passion of my sister Rhoda Waithira. You know, she's just talking what is in her heart, and I really like that. Tunataka tuongee, we want to vent and vent mpaka tupone, otherwise we are really a wounded lord.
Gift ngoja tu kidogo ni kuonyesha hii clip just ka 30 seconds I think.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Gift, hapo kuna kitu ama ni normal coincidence tu watu wamekutana airport?
My brother Wekesa, sometimes tulikuwa tunaletewanga composition primary ama secondary, unaletewa picha alafu unaambiwa kwamba write a composition, so create something out of what you are seeing, and you have actually made me to create a lot. I've just added on to what I had created in the morning wakati niliona hiyo picha in Facebook. Now I can see that there was a lot that that I had not um, observed. I quickly see like 3, 4 things here. Number one is that UDA is a very worried lot because in Kenya, when Raila does not talk, it's like those who are always very jittery about him always come up with a lot of provocations to see what he will say. And I think this was a very well choreographed thing, a very well planned thing, so that I think there is somebody who knew that Raila was in town. Maybe he was landing, uh, because I just learned that he was in Zanzibar, where he had gone to cool off the anger of his stolen victory. So I think they timed. Now that they're in government, I think they had to get information from Wanja Wandege, and even the person who went to meet Raila. It's a strategy because Gachagua, if you ask me, he's like a spanner boy. He's not a very serious person. Actually, Gachagua is like Sudi, only that Sudi has been very abusive and very provocative. So UDA calculated this move, and I think they wanted to hear what Raila's mind is. When you have gone to steal from a place, or you've gone to get a girl from a place, they used to see you sasa komimba. So you pass that area to find out. Do they know that I'm the one who impregnated? I don't know if you're understanding me. So they were testing the waters to see if he's angry, kama amecheza chini. And from the gestures, of course, Raila is the type of person who talks. And when he talks, when he's angry, he is emotive. His hands will show, his body language will show. So I think I've not heard the words, but he's rattling, he's irritated. I think he's telling this guy that it's not over. He's telling him that mambo bado. I think he's saying, what do you think you have done? What country are you, what type of country do you want? Why do you want to buy institutions and spoil them? I think he was complaining, and he was angry. It's also interesting that today we had 2 meetings. There was one at Naivasha and then the other one of AZIMIO. So in both camps, I think Raila was the talk in whispers. I'm sure kuna zile groups walikuwa wanakusanyika hapa discussing that meeting, and I think today maybe our deputy leo alikuwa na umuhimu mkubwa because today he was the main informer. You see, amewaambia mzee amesema hivi. But I think the reason why that also had to be planned is because of what Raila said yesterday in Mombasa when he went to attend an impromptu inauguration ceremony for the Mombasa governor, because he was very, very categorical. He blasted the judiciary. He blasted the IEBC, and in essence, what he was saying is that even the UDS victory is not even borrowed. It is stolen. So maybe in a few words, that's what I could say about the pictures I see. But most importantly, I think borrowing from what my sister Rhoda said.
So let
Um,
me ask you,
ye-
because now we have to be deep on this, huh?
yes,
This is Raila. Okay, I've already shown you that kwanza. Hii ni ya Raila na Gachagua, nyuma yao kuna plane.
yes,
Uh, I just showed people ndio waone wenye wanasema waweke wa Raila kwa wheelbarrow aende Bondo. Nyuma yake
uh-huh,
hiyo sio wheelbarrow, ni aeroplane.
yes,
So
yes,
weka Raila aende Bondo kwa wheelbarrow, hiyo ni aeroplane.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Uh, let me ask you,
yes,
this is Raila Odinga
mm,
who refused to attend
yes,
not just a national function. It
yes,
was it was almost a continental function. Over
mm,
20 heads of states were in Kenya.
mm,
So if he was to be comfortable to meet these two, which one
mm,
was the best? Meeting them uh, or meeting Gachagua somewhere there. So don't you think? Okay, it may be an accidental meeting, yes,
yes.
but in this meeting, who benefited?
Um,
Okay, me, I come.
I
Let me put it this way. I come from
sure,
a background of sales and marketing. When
yes,
you go to a supermarket,
mm,
you always see goods are displayed, isn't it?
yes,
And if you want to give value your goods, if you have produced a new product which looks inferior,
mm,
but you want to give it value,
yes. You
kama hii
advertise it.
wacha
You advert.
a simple example, hii maji ya mtaa hii wanauzanga mbao.
Eh,
Now, if you want to give it value, you put
mm,
it next to a premium water kama Keringet ama
or
Aqua something.
alga. Yes,
So that that low product derives its value from a premium product.
yes,
So that's the question I'm asking. When
mm,
Gachagua meets with Raila,
mm,
who has gained value and who has lost value? By the way, when you merchandise those two products, the
mm,
premium product
mm,
being next to a product ya 20 bob, it loses
mm,
value.
mm.
Now the product ya 20 bob being next to a premium product, it gains value.
Oh yes. Okay.
So when we
For,
see Raila and Gachagua in one photo,
mm,
who gains value and who loses value?
I may not give a very direct answer, but I think let me put it in a narrative. From the body language of the two, I realize that Gashagwa is struggling and is really working hard to get eye contact with Raila, which means that he is the one on the beggarly side. He's the one who is actually begging for attention. So from the UDA side, according to them, they have won. Somehow they have reached Raila. But from my side, as an AZIMIO person, Raila is being sought. So the UDA people are looking for him because he has got a key. He has a key that is not very important, but in politics, they want to hear from him. They want to find out what is really happening. So, in equal measure, I would say that um, we have gained because we know that they are shaken. But again, as much as we know that they are shaken, they have the presidency. They are calling the shots. You just heard what the president said in Naivasha today. They were actually laughing at us. They are saying we don't have numbers. So what this means is that they have shared the spoils. They have shared the spoils, and I think I don't want to be very very critical this time, because I know that in the past I used to take very hard stances against UDA, but so far now that they have taken the seat, I think I have to begin to be a bit a bit generous. So uh, we have shared the spoils, but of course Raila is a bit up because ametafutwa, but hiyo kutafutwa inaleta nini kwangu, inaleta nini kwa kikapu chetu? That's the question. So that's why I'm saying it's a shared thing. Yes, Mr. Wekesa.
Okay, thank you. So for majority seat, who should be the majority leader in Parliament, Senate? Then before we come to, I'm coming to you, Rhoda.
Um, I I think in the 12th Parliament, Duale held that seat, and that's a seat that requires somebody who has got very good oratory skills, somebody who has got knowledge in the history of Parliament, in the history of those who have been in Parliament.
No, let me reframe my question. It's not about the person I'm asking. Actually, I'm asking about the sites. Is it Azimio or Kenya Kwanza? Who should claim the seat of majority, according to the numbers?
According to the numbers, I think UDA will take it, because going by what um, happened when the speaker slot and the deputy speaker slot were.
No, now listen. This is not voted. This is just the interpretation of the law. That's which coalition has the majority. In other words, not the voting pattern.
Mhm.
Which coalition has the majority?
It's very tricky because you can have the majority of numbers, but then you fail in persuasion, because I, I didn't follow up on the elections of the governor, chairman. There was Olelenku and the lady Waiguru. I actually don't know who is likely to take, but if Olelengu can be so persuasive, maybe if he will use the power of male chauvinism, maybe he will get it. But and if he uses his history of being an administrator that he has been, uh, I, let me say that I wish that AZIMIO person takes it. But again, there will be a lot of contention. There will be a lot of contention, and it's likely that UDA will take it. The best we can get is maybe assistant. That is my bid, sir.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Although I had governors, they were arguing. Umenirudisha kwa governors, although we were discussing parliament, but sawa tu. Kwa governors, I hear they want to have someone that is approachable person. This is governors sio kama
Mhm.
MPs, they will need to pass bills or whatever. For them, they
Correct.
just want a leader who will
Mm.
coordinate the whole process. And for them, they are saying they are going more of a person than the party, because COG doesn't have so much party role. In fact, sometimes all of them fight. They want someone who can stand strong and fight for their rights from the from the central government to get their resources. So they were arguing they want a person, not a party, because it has less role about parties actually. When you
Yeah,
look
somebody
at
who can.
how
I agree that that part requires somebody who is influential, somebody who has got very good bargaining skills, maybe somebody who is a compromiser, somebody who can harmonize. And I think whichever way it goes, I think Olelengu can, and even that lady can. because from my standpoint, I see her as a very tough woman. But again, for a simple fact that people vote for her and people approach her, maybe, and even the youth, I don't know, but I think you are right. So this time, I think they could settle on an AZIMIO person. And I think, but is Olelenku very affirmative? Is he very, very administrative? Is he that very, very, is he a good mediator? Because I would think that the best person for that seat, mtu mzuri kabisa, is not Olelengu. I would think that if we had somebody from Central, maybe Central, but a man, maybe it would help from where I sit.
Okay, sawa sawa. So hapo kwa parliament nitakuruka sababu ni kama bado but I think kwa parliament in summary we can talk about numbers Azimio na numbers UDA. Wacha before defections. How the speaker will interpret that, we are waiting to see how Mr. Moses Wetangula interpret that part. Let's have Rhoda. Ulikuwa unataka kuchangia kwa huo mswada.
One thing, I'm worried because I'm oppositions of AZIMIO Umoja. I have been AZIMIO Umoja with the ticket of Jubilee, and I love ODM, I love Wiper, all parties. We are one community, and I have joined. I've been all the time Jubilee all the time, and when I had Jubilee supporting Raila Odinga, then I started to support him. So I'm really worried that Raila will be full to join handshake, like the way you say, because I want us to be opposition. We are oppositions. Those are things I was asking myself. If Raila will be full with the Gachagua to join as a Kenya Kwisha, I don't know, it's Kenya Kwisha, join them. I'm really worried because akienda sasa atatuuza. Unaona, you have to stand by kama vile Mother Karua na Kalonzo wamesimama. We want people who are strong. If you're opposition leader, you must be strong. It doesn't matter you get money for them. It's better you stay poor, but you are fighting for your country, for democracy, and for the righteousness. You know, I have seen many people, they sacrifice their life. They hide when they are fighting for their democracy. I know one woman from, I think it's a country like Afghanistan. She was a woman. She was fighting for Afghanistan democracy when she's hiding. So BBC, they were interview her, try to rescue her in Afghanistan to come to Europe. But she stay, I will stay here until I fight for my democracy. I know many people, they used to go to prison, gospel, even sit in Afghanistan. And then they used to go there because we want people who are really strong. Don't look the money. If you really love your country, you have to fight for your democracy. Because right now, Kenya, we need democracy. What I mean about the democracy, when the president retired, to be treated like other president retired, that is a democracy. A country ruled by the law. That the president retired, the same thing they did for the other president, and to be treated the same others. That is a democracy. But when they do something like backside, I don't feel comfortable. So I'm worried. Raila Odinga, they have been together with the Huru, and Huru helped him to do campaign. He helped with many things. Like me, I listen him. Because me, it's an Meshuki, come from Muranga County. He used to tell us, wherever Huru go, you have to follow him. So me, I have been listening to those people who died before Meshuki. He was a minister of the road. So me, I've been following him all the time. Even my own brother, he's a Uda. He voted for the Ruto, but even we don't talk. You know why? Because they don't understand. When I tell, me, I told them, they don't listen to me. Even my own mother doesn't listen to me. Oh, Raila, you can vote, But me, I'm still standing for the truth because I love President Uhuru so much. He's my dad, actually. I call him dad. He's my mentor. He's my mentor he's the one who makes me to have peace. to know what is a peace, to give other people peace. He's the one, he's my mentor, he's my heroes. So if somebody treat him bad, you are treating me bad. So we want AZIMIO to stay unity, and they have to be strong if they want to be oppositions, to fight for our democracy and in our constitution. What does the constitution say? The president retired. What we have to do? Well, you know, what we have to do, you know, that's the way we want. We don't want to play the game. So I'm worried that Raila will be full, because I was very surprised to see Raila with the Gachagua. I don't care who, you know, me, this thing you're discussing about the winning, I don't know what is that. But for me, I'm really worried. I hope that Gachagua didn't fool Raila Odinga. Because Raila Odinga, he's very easy to forgive people. I know him. I know Raila Odinga, Omoro Odinga. You know Raila Odinga, he's the one who was doing coup 1982 with one man who died this country I'm living. They were doing 1982 coup. So I know Raila Odinga have a big history fighting for democracy. So he have to keep that spirit, because I can trust him. He will not sell us. You know, some people, they are saying that at Uhuru Kenyatta didn't. I was here in propaganda, people, they are lying. At Uhuru Kenyatta didn't he play the game? No. Uhuru Kenyatta was a real. He was supporting Raila. And even if, you know me nowadays, I don't care. Even if they do whatever they want, he was supporting Raila 100%. It's a Kikuyu tribe. They were voting for Ruto. But he was a meaning. Even you could see the body language. Some people, they are lying at the root. Later was playing Uhuru was playing the game. No. I know. You know, let me tell you. My dad used to tell me, Raila, if Uhuru killed Raila, even Uhuru die, those people you could not separate. Even 2017, did you see Uhuru didn't kill Raila? No, when they went to the Uhuru Park with the military, when he went to saw him, he didn't. He cannot do that. Those people, you don't know the bagger. So me, I want them, they stay together. I don't care he will get the money for the government. I don't care whether he will leave, but he have to stand still, because for me, because I can feel I'm really blood belong to the, we come from them one community, because we, AZIMIO, we are one community. We can feel safety. We want strong leader who can protect us. We can feel safety for our democracy, for our righteousness, for freedom of speech, and freedom to say how we feel. We don't want these kind of people try to manipulate in our country with the intimidation. We want really people who are really honest in our country, because that's only can move forward. People are really honest, not about the money.
Yeah.
Honesty.
There is another dimension of it. For people who have been watching closely what is happening in Kenya Kwanza, slowly Gachagua is being put at the edge, and slowly Mudavadi is being given prominence. And so some people may interpret it as Gachagua wanted to show his boss that mimi pia ni mwanasiasa, because when you look, if you look at it, he did it on a personal ground, just to create a perception that he can also move out and mingle with the big boys. Because after that, ukiangalia, that is when the conversation came in Naivasha. When you see, when they went to Naivasha, the discussion was, and first of all, when you see them, Ruto arriving, and they were walking on the red carpet, Ruto literally pushed, walked towards Gachagua mpaka amemweka kwa H, anatoka kwa carpet, then giving space for Musalia Mudavadi. Then they continued talking as they were moving towards ignoring Gachagua. And what is happening also, it's a power game that is going on. We also hear Mudavadi has been given Harambe Annex, which is the office of the DP. So that's where he will operate. And Gachagua has been given 2 floors on that Harambe Avenue, Ile office of the president. So that in itself looks like they are clipping his wings, and he's trying to show that I can create my own space if you make me suffocate. So I don't want to read too much about, okay, Ruto has made it categorical that he's not going into handshake, and that one we appreciate, and nobody is interested in that. But I can tell you for free, for those who will be, even after the cabinet is named, for those who will be disenfranchised and who will feel uncomfortable for the positions they wanted and the places they have been pushed to, they will start looking outside and trying to build relationship uh, from within and from without. And so let's not read too much about the handshake, but for me, it's looked more personal than it's not a UDA position. That one I can say. Yeah.
I I I have a feeling, especially gathering from what my sister Rhoda said. I think for me, it will take a very long time for me to believe any merger, any political merger between any communities or 2 communities at the top, because the Uhuruto merger was one of its kind. It had all the goodies, it had all the pictures and all the symbols of what a good friend means to another one. But for the simple fact that they have ended, they have finished their term not united. And that spirit is still there. That spirit has not been crushed, because up to when the former president was going to hand over the baton, the tools of, the tools of power, in the public domain, we knew that Uhuru and Ruto were not talking, so that no one can say enough, no one can convince me enough or persuade me enough that probably Uhuru was playing con to Raila. So I want to agree with Rhoda that there is no way that a man of Uhuru's caliber and the stature and the exposure can take that long time uh, to lie to Raila that he was a friend, uh, because in many occasions Uhuru would actually openly say why he went to shake hands with Raila, and he would say that kazi ilikuwa mingi na mwenzake alikuwa amemwacha, and he gave the reasons, sema 1 2 3 4, we don't want to repeat. But secondly, I want to say that I was almost off. I want to say that am I taking too much time, Mr. Wekesa?
Just proceed. Huh?
Okay.
Right now, you take advantage of we are few. When people will come here, I will start reducing time. So
Okay. Oh, yeah.
take advantage of that and say whatever you want to say.
Oh, thank you. So, I want to echo what my sister Rhoda said about. It's you who said that from the time when President Ruto picked his running mate, there were jitters, there were feelings of hunger kwa yeye, because most of them were for Kindiki Kidure, the Kindiki Kidure. So Gachagua was a personal choice of the president. He was not a choice of the other team, the other group, other members. And the reason why Ruto settled on him is because of two reasons. One, he had been on his side for a long time, so he had stuck with him when things were not working, when they were being sidelined in Parliament during the Ruto, second term, but the first years, wakati walikuwa wanatolewa kwa committees, wanatolewa kwa viti, Gachagua stuck with him. And then number two is because of the Mount Kenya votes. That's why Ruto had to stick with him. But otherwise, he was not the best choice for him. It was not the best choice. Now, I want to tell my sister, Rhoda, that every politician has got needs. And if these needs are not met, they will always sacrifice even their seats, their positions, their money, and break. Every politician wants to feel the need of purpose. So if he's in a group and he is not recognized, kazi yake haionekani, huyo jamaa ataanza kusumbua. Every politician wants the need of value to be felt. He wants every person to know that he is important, that he is useful. So wakati Gachagua ataanza kuona ya kwamba sasa watu wanaanza kuona kama he is not useful, and especially angalia tu from the day we had the inauguration of the president, wakati walikuwa wanapewa kiti, people made fun of him. Unaona picha hapa, sijui anakula aje, unaona hapa ati sijui wageni wamekaa, heads of states and ambassadors have come, then he's actually doing the last campaign kama anaongea kama mwenye anafanya siasa. So watu wamemdharau, watu wanamdunisha, like he is not very international. That international stature is not with him. Yeye ni mtu wa mtaa. So what Mr. Wekesa is saying, I agree with you that it's just a matter of time. And I think from the script that we are seeing, UDA is going to split very fast. Inaweza kusplit haraka sana. The split will be too fast, it will be too big, and I think it will require a lot of counseling. That is now, hii government ni ile ambayo inahitaji wachungaji wengi, inahitaji washauri wengi, inahitaji manabii wengi. No wonder leo ule wa South Africa amekuja State House. So watakaa hapo kwa maombi, kujidanganya kwamba wako kwa maombi, wako kwa Mungu. That is what is going to save them. But if they don't deliver, then the boys will go there. People will go there. And I can see kabisa ndio huyo amemage. You are right. Woi. Gachagua ndio huyo kweli amekanyaga chini. Mudavadi is now the one na ichungu ambao wako kwa carpet. So I agree with you, Mr. Wekesa, that this man, and indeed Nyoro is behind him. I think he's noticing. Now, if these people, if the fallout will emanate from...
Look at the second illustration, where yes, we have, I think this photo, the reason I took it, it has been trending with the UDA people, and they are praising God that in the first photo, Uhuru had brought Matiang'i closer and sidelined Ruto. But what they did not notice in the details of this photo is that the same image that happened up there is happening down there. That while you brought close Matiang'i and sidelined Ruto, Ruto has brought other people. In fact, here he feels so warm with Oduale, and Gachagua is there. So it's the same photo with the different times, interpreted all way. And you look at it, and there's a script already building. People may not believe it now, but it will just take some time. Then right now they are still on that honeymoon stage.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can ignore. In honeymoon, in honeymoon road, you can ignore whether I snow or not. But the snoring will be a nuisance.
Exactly,
In
exactly.
honeymoon, you ignore, you ignore the other details.
Mm,
But the red flags are there. Uh,
mm.
in fact, this relationship was not stronger the same way Uruto's relationship was. So let me welcome, okay, conclude. I welcome Budi and then we
Yeah, let me
can
just
progress.
conclude very fast. My brother Wekes and Rod and Budia, when you are in a relationship, especially the one where money and feelings are involved, and then you break, and then as you break, you begin to look for a partner immediately without healing, without having gone over the issues that really made you to break up or to walk out. To walk out, and you get married quickly without repentance or forgiveness. When you get married to this other person, you are not a changed person. You are the same person. So this government of UDA, this marriage between our president and his deputy was a marriage of convenience which had its roots from anger. They were very angry because of the treatment they got from the fallout, when President Uhuru and other people, the Jubilee Brigade, started urging them. So it is not possible that President Ruto and Deputy Gachagua will hold together without councillors, without moderators, without people to keep them. In fact, the biggest role that we have in this case in this nation is not even the role of us now in the opposition. Our role is not actually to check the government against the excesses and against the underdevelopment or whatever it is, but it's against the rifts that are going to develop. And they will begin from, I see Ndindi Nyoro and Gachagua beginning to be dissatisfied. And when that happens, we will quickly begin to see again Raila becoming very relevant, or other people, if not Raila, then other people, and most likely Kalonzo. I hope that he will take advantage of that. I raise my case. Yes, I'm done. I'm done, sir.
To have a session to show you a bit of etiquette. We want to show you how to hold, what to do, because sometimes we get embarrassed when senior people don't even know how to hold a spoon or how to hold a fork. So tomorrow we'll take time because we want to mentor everybody. And some people take things for granted. Mnanielewa? So tutapangana namna hivyo. Hiyo ni number one.
Now, that was not an empty jab. Huh? Some people take these things, it's coming immediately after we have had a bash in State House. Huh? I think some people are uncomfortable with what happened, and he's just looked for a way to start hitting. Anyway, let me have Benson Budia make his remarks before I say what I wanted to say. How are you, Benson?
Hi, Wekesa, Rod, and the gift.
Hi.
Yeah, let me weigh in on the issue of eating. Gachagua look funny eating there. But before I make a serious note, let me make one of the things I've had in the streets of Nairobi and the young boys talking about now that the Nairobi girls have given them a lot of problems. They are looking for kienyeji from Kitutu Saba or from somewhere in Murang'a where I come from. Unaleta Nairobi, unajioshea. And then there's a lot of jokes, unatafuta msichana wa kienyeji, kutoka ushago because wa Nairobi wametulemea. That is saying among the young boys a lot. Hii ya kienyeji inakaa namna gani? But on a serious note, William Ruto moved with the whole thing about Hasra Nation. And I think the whole thing about Hasra Nation is about getting, 40% of the people we saw in Naivasha, or even the MPs under Ruto, they are basically young people. Gachagua has just been an MP for 5 years. So these are the kienyeji that young people keep on talking about. So Ruto, you make a bed, you have to lie on it. So you have to take an extra role to orient these people from the very beginning, from the kienyeji, to make them the MPs that you want. When I went to university many years ago, over 20 years ago, when we went to our orientation week, what they call orientation week, that is the first time, because I came from Muranga and I went schooled in Muranga in my neighborhood and all that. That was the first time we were taught on how to hold the fork. The way we hold forks, and which one is for dessert, and which one is for the soup, and which one is for the starter, and all that. All those things we were taught at the University of Nairobi. That time, the university had only like 3,000 or 4,000 students, so it was possible to do extensive etiquette training. And I remember Justice Smoking Wanjara actually taking us through the communication etiquette, what you need to say at what time and all that. And it was a serious course. We actually took like 6 weeks to go through the etiquette. It's not different when you get border guys and you get into the assembly, when you get some of these young people just from the village and you are putting them into the positions of power. Basically, etiquette becomes an important part of your tool because you made a choice. You wanted Kiborek. You didn't want Gideon Moy. So Gideon Moy was brought where etiquette was at the early stage, was taught on the table. Kiborek is a young man from Mogotio, Kambia Samaki. He doesn't understand those things of which spoon is for dessert and which is for the soup and the starter. Having said that, also the whole issue of etiquette is based on our parliamentary model. We are a British parliamentary model, which is based on etiquette. Last week, we have been treated into the monarch etiquette and the model. And that's where the whole parliamentary model, our parliamentary institution came from. Etiquette, what you wear, what you talk, the standing order, all those things are based on these things. So Ruto have a job to do. And number two is the issue of Gachagua. And Gachagua, I agree with you. He needs a bit of curbing. He needs a bit of those etiquette and political mannerism and all that. And even us who supported Kenya Kwanza, we took in strides to agree Gachagua will be our person. He have his strengths, but he have also his weaknesses. So basically, there will be a lot of interchange between, the other leaders from Central Province. You see a lot of Professor Kindiki, you see a lot of Didi Nyoro, you see a lot of Kionjoli coming in, you see a lot of Susan Kehika coming in, just to step in to bring Gachagua at par. I think in terms of the curve, it will take another three years just to bring him at the par of presidential material. In terms of breaking up, I think the strong part of Gachagua is mobilization and negotiation on the table. So give it to him. As we sit here, he have already negotiated 5 cabinet members. Western have negotiated 5. So basically, he have a very strong negotiation skills on the table, and also to a level of very abrasive. He can be very confrontational, He will not be pushed around. Today event, we all know that he came from, he arrived almost the same time with the president. He was at a governor's meeting with Raila and all that. So he just came like a minute before the president arrived. So basically there was all these things we are seeing. I've also seen people talking about why he had been given the Harambee House versus the office of the prime minister, where Ruto was. But let's go back to why we bought that house. It was called was it Ajip House or yeah? Why that house was bought? It was the office of the prime minister. So actually, in the spirit of fidelity to our agreement with Musalia Mudavade, he rightly needs to occupy the office of the prime minister, what they are calling office of the prime chief minister. So I think that's where it belongs. The deputy president, the vice president have always occupied the 5th and the 6th floor of the office of the Harambee House, where the seat of power is. The other thing is there is a lot of the last 2 seasons, Uhuru 10 years, we saw a lot of, the entire office of president being landed from the State House. So I think Ruto also want to handle his work from the office, from the State House. So that leaves Gachagua more space to occupy the Harambee House as the bona fide deputy president. The other things that this was in the campaign is how we use the office of the current resident. So I think Ruto also want to change that. There were a lot of issues at Karen. There were a lot of traffic and the resident association. So I think we will see Gachagua more at the office of the Harambee House rather than current residents. And finally, of course, Gachagua is a DO. Once a DO, always a DO. He's a Mr. Fix-It. He will remain as the Mr. Fix-It. He's not the nice guy we'll see on the streets. He'll be the bad guy on the streets. Thank you. Thank you, Wekesa. Thank you, team.
Respond to your criticism here. You are on mute.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I'm wrong on Ajip, but the house, when Raila became the president, we bought a house. The government bought a house as the office of the prime minister. When Uhuru came on board, it was time to be the deputy president office. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong on the Ajip house, but it used to be a house along the. Yeah, maybe it's not Ajip. I haven't been in Nairobi for some time. So, but it had a different name. I'm sorry. I can't remember the house. Maybe it was not Ajip.
Okay, thank you. Let me play a video on subsidy. Perhaps everybody to comment on it.
President William Ruto says his government will not subsidize consumables and will instead focus on production, which will lead to stabilization in prices. The president saying plans for agriculture, housing, and healthcare would be revealed in detail. The head of state was speaking to the Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group, which has retreated to Naivasha to strategize on House leadership positions in the National Assembly and the Senate.
In Naivasha for the first parliamentary group meeting since his swearing in as president, William Ruto told the assembled leaders that his government will not carry on with subsidization of basic commodities such as food. His statement indicating a shift in policy from what the Uhuru administration had tried to do in his last days in office through the subsidized maize meal.
We are not going to be subsidizing consumption. That is why we are going slow on matters to do with subsidizing consumption. We are going to work and support producers.
The head of state, who on the day of his inauguration announced that the government had produced 1.4 million bags of fertilizer, which would sell at 3,500 shillings, adding that focus would remain on production.
The UNGA subsidy that was done, I was being briefed by the Ministry of Agriculture. The UNGA subsidy, for 1 month, the taxpayer was asked to give 7 billion for 1 month. Ile unga ya 100, which was nowhere in the first place. Very few people got to ever, yet we spend 7 billion shillings. If we had spent 7 billion shillings in fertilizer, it would be a very different ballgame.
The president saying that there were plans to seek food security in the country.
That has to do with public wastage in public resources should be dealt with firmly, decisively, and in a timely manner. We expect that the fight against corruption will be scaled up. We expect that our insecure areas, cattle rustling, conflict amongst communities will be dealt with firmly and decisively.
The head of state saying that his government's focus was also on reducing the price of healthcare in the country to affordable levels for the masses. Saturday will be the climax of the 2-day Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting, with the leadership of this particular political outfit expected to outline the agenda of business in both houses of parliament to all the leaders who gathered at this particular venue. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Naivasha.
Okay. Budhia, let me have your 1 minute response on that, and then I go back to Gift and Rhoda.
Thank you, Ekesa. Subsidy is one of the economic tools that is used in public finance management, and universally it's agreed that subsidy is supposed to be applied during the famine, emergency, or war, so that because it's supposed to cushion people during eminent disruptive way of doing things. So anything that and people can read about this, anything more than 90 days on subsidy, it's a long economic model. So I think what because this is David D economics here, what David D is telling the president is that we started subsidy for fuel sometimes in May or I think March, 6 months down the line. So it's a long economic model. So why are we removing subsidy on these things? The government is giving 7 billion on a monthly basis to fuel distributors and producers, not producers really, but distributors, 7 billion. Yet the amount of money they are taxing is 23 billion. So you tax 23 billion per month, you give 7. You need to sort yourselves out, because it's a long model. So basically, what Kenya Kwanza is planning to do from next week is to go and revisit the Finance Bill 2022-2023, and remove some of the taxes that they have imposed on fuel. So that is one. And basically, it will be the same thing. Instead of giving people 7 billion and remove and the taxing 23, you do some balancing so that it's one even whatever. What is the risk of the fuel subsidy? That it was being enjoyed by only 5, what we call big 5. You know, me and you know the big 5, Caltex, Ken Corbin, all these 5, the big 5. And you remove thousands of people who owns petrol station. They are called independent petrol distributors. And that is the petrol station near your home, that inaitwa KK, inaitwa Roda Waidera petrol station. All those people have been removed out of subsidy. So one way of ensuring that everyone can participate in whatever is bringing these people on board. On maize subsidy, it will be a tough thing for Kenyans, because the subsidy for maize was again going to specific mirrors, specific individuals. It didn't benefit the mirrors at in Keno, in Busia, in whatever. It is Unga and a few other Cropwell and others. So basically, when you remove a subsidy for Unga, what are you going to do in short term? So Kenya Kwanza is looking at, first of all, mopping all the maize from the farmers at a favorable cost. Then, for the first time in the last 10 years, flood the Kenyan market with maize. Open Zambia, Malawi, and Mexico to flood the market. Once you flood the market, the forces will balance. Unfortunately, that might take between 3 to 6 months. In long term, invest on fertilizer, invest on machinery, invest on other incentives, including seedlings and planting materials. That's what they are looking at. The other thing, finally, Mekesa, if you allow me a minute, the other thing is you give Unga 7 billion per month, which is uneven, which is Unga that we didn't see. I can tell you there was 18 billion invested in Unga during the subsidy. Just two and a half months, including this month, because there's still some money being that was released as late as this month. So 18 billion was used as subsidy. Me and you know, if you give 18 billion to farmers, fertilizer, planting materials, seed, you'll actually change the whole thing in the next 6 months in a near the bumper harvest. So basically, it is hard time between now and say March. It will be hard for me and you who are buying Unga, but in long run, it will change the dynamics of food and food security in Kenya. Thank you, Ekesa.
Okay, but in congruence to campaign promises, do you think there is something that Kenyans were not being told? Because I think their expectation was like, these guys, if they come on power, the first thing they are going to do is to bring down the prices. Because those are the sound bites from campaign trail. Nobody talked about alternatives. Nobody said that instead of us subsidizing, we will actually do this. We are just learning right now. Maybe that is the shock the Kenyans are having. It's not a bad proposal, yes, but okay, we were not aligned for that. Okay. Rhoda will tell you that sometimes you may go to a shop and buy a gift and you want to surprise her, and you yourself will be surprised. Maybe that was not what she was expecting.
Can I weigh in?
Yeah, just to respond on that, and then we go to
okay. Let's deal with the process for us to change, for us to remove excise duty or fuel levy or this thing. You need to go back to Parliament. So one of the things that people are doing in Naivasha is actually, what are the first bills what are the first things that we need to deal with? It is the finance bill. It will take 3 weeks. It will take a month or so to effect the finance bill. And once the finance bill is changed, it means we will reduce the fuel. I can assure you the next cycle, which is 14th of October, the fuel will go down, because by that time, the parliament will have opened, they will have changed the finance bill, and they will remove some of the excise duty. And I think they have identified some of the levies that are charged. Can you imagine the government collects over 60 bob on fuel? So just change a bit, 10, 20 bob from the exercise, and you get it. In terms of maize, it will take, for that one, I think there hapo tulichezwa kidogo. By the time we get the first dock of maize from Mexico, it is 2.5 months. We can start with the slow ones from Tanzania or or Zambia. I work in Zambia. We have an office in Zambia, and we visit there quite often. The cost of a bag in Zambia is 800 today. 800 bob. So basically, in Malawi it's like 1100. In Tanzania, I think it's 1400. So what are we saying? If we remove the bureaucratic things around import, and the government become deliberate and careless, let me use that word, deliberate and careless. You sort our farmers with fertilizer and you buy their maize, then you become careless. Careless is mean allow 10 million bags in 2-3 months. I can tell you we shall deal with this thing.
Okay. Thank you, but you see, you haven't answered my question. I said you guys have not. Your response right now is completely different from what you are selling to us in campaign.
Nimesema
you said.
Nimesema tulichezwa.
Then.
Okay.
Yeah, najua. And then there is also, when someone gets an accident, they normally say the first step is not treatment. The first step is stabilize the patient. That's why we have the first aid. So subsidy came in as a first aid. Yes, we know it may be costly, but the reality was there are places when you go to extreme parts of this country, people were dying and they just needed food. If you tell them fertilizer, our friends from Turkana don't farm unless you start coming up with irrigation. So yes, the fertilizer thing is good, but for the short-term medication was Kenyans needed unga prices to be brought down as we call to the long-term solutions, which is empowering our farmers. Tuliambiwa hata tractors sijui zitatoka wapi. How many tractors mlikuwa mmepropose zinakuja? Silime Kenya mzima. How many tractors were to come? Okay. So let me do this before I bring.
Can I talk?
Yeah, I'm
Can I talk
you in. Yeah, wait, kidogo.
Yes.
I just want to make. Wait. I just want to make a communication. I'm sure there are people who are having challenges. We began the show, but Bernard came and also began another show. So we will do this one because mimi huenda kulala mapema. So up to the time we can close and go to the other side. However, there's nothing wrong for us having even 2, 3, or 5 shows on this platform. It can hold as many shows as we can, as long as we can accommodate people. So we will do up to that time, and then we release people to be on one platform. So for now, you can just feel okay to participate in any of the platforms. They are still our shows. So I will welcome Rhoda to comment, Gift, and then Alex. Thank you. Rhoda, uko na sisi?
Oh yes, okay, sorry, I didn't know. Okay, one thing I want to say, Kenya, you cannot compare with the development country, because development country, when they have elections and they do campaign, they used to tell us, we are going to do this. For example, like where I'm living, the politician from here, they used to tell us, we are going to have, like this country I'm living, we have been very long. When you book appointment to the doctor, I remember I had some operations last year, and have to wait for the queues 7 months, because this country is free healthcare. So I have to wait a long time. So the politicians, they were telling us, most of the people, they wait long time for the queue to get operations. So that's why we had oppositions and people who like that. So, but the things me, I love this country, the politicians, they solve the problem. They don't assume the problem. So the way I saw that Kenya Kwanza, they try to say things. Right now, they meet today in Naivasha to talk about things about maize. I was expecting them how to make country move forward. How can we bring peace to other people where the ministers, are we going to give them peace? That's what I was expecting. Those people, they were working in the Jubilee administration. Are we going to give them peace? What, are we going to support them? Are we going to continue the work the former president was doing? They could speak good thing about the former president, that he did this, we will continue the way he did. You know, that's what I was expecting. But the way I saw Ruto, he tried to assume the problem. It doesn't work like that. You have to fix the problem. We remember who he was. I remember who he went sometimes before election in this in Western Kenya in Bugoma, and he promised people from Bugoma, I'm going to help with the Mumia's sugar. That's machine to make sugar, and he said every farmer will get money, because he have a wisdom, and he know exactly, because he said 2 billion shilling they get, but they didn't get those money. And he promised them, every farmer, I'll give them money in the account. And I believe they get those money. So, and then Waitagura was complaining, oh, wanatuchezea. I was, oh my God. I was very surprised when I hear people, they are complaining, they don't want to receive. Even if somebody give you money now, you have to receive it. You cannot say, no, I don't want. Like the way I said, I have been waiting 7 months to take operation. And when I get, I was saying, wow, it was a miracle. And it was a lot of people, they were waiting to do operations. So when I get that opportunity, I was very happy. So we want people in our country who don't assume the problem, because we can give other people peace. I know many people were expecting they are going to talk somebody in Naivasha. How can we make our country move forward? How can we bring the unity? Because many people are along in the unity of Kenya, because everybody can feel safety. Everybody can feel, even when you have your own business, you feel safety. Even when you are former MCA, you didn't get. How can we protect them? We will still congratulate them what they did in the Jubilee, especially if there was a deputy president in the Jubilee government. He could say, what I did, I tried to do for the best. But he tried to assume the problem. And most of the dictators, they usually do that. They usually assume, instead of they fix the problem, they assume. So me, I didn't get any point what he talked about maize. I didn't get anything. I was expecting him to talk about what can we make our country move forward, and then he was talking about emotionally. So I didn't see any right. I could see only the darkness in that meeting. I didn't see any you know, like this minister, this MP of Bugoma, is called the Damas Dimusi. It's called Damas Dimusi. I don't know his name. He was all arguing with the Uhuru Kenyatta, very anger. At you have to do legging me. You know, I was asking myself, what Uhuru have done for him? And I saw that, and even I comment, what he have done. We want to know. He tell me what he have done. If I could be there, what Uhuru have done for you? Tell me. Did he eat your money? Did he beat you? Why do you hate him? The things me I start to realize, most of the tribe, they hate my tribe. That's the way I start to realize. Not many tribes that have Uhuru Kenyatta. It's really hurt me. And Uhuru Kenyatta was a very good person. He was kind. He had been trying to bring us together. He have never put anybody down. It doesn't matter you come from Western or Eastern. He always kind. But all the things, they just talk the shit about him. It really hurt me. And I remember there's one woman from Count of Mama Chege, Count of Muranga. She told us, not many tribes they love us. Not many tribes they love Kikuyu tribes. And I understand now. Because Uhuru is a Kikuyu tribe, that's why they hate him. It could be another tribe they could not hate him. It's really hurt me.
Thank you.
And we cannot move forward if Ruto will not bring us together. We cannot move forward and speak positive. The government he was before, he need to speak positive, because me I can get peace. I don't get peace. The time he take microphone, he said, I like the president who he was a nice person. Let's give him peace, and he continue with peace, and we bless him, and we treat him like the way we treat Kibaki, and then I'll get peace. But now I don't get peace. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhoda. For Kate, someone can toss. For you to join the studio, you have to click on the link that I've shared. So you don't keep on complaining that hujapewa a chance. I've shared the link several times. Just click on that link and then it will lead you to the studio, and you are free to make your contribution. So hakuna mtu amekunyima nafasi, ni wewe hujafuata vile kunafanywa. I've shared 3 times that link, you can see there. So you just click on it and then allow the StreamYard to control your gadget. Then you will find yourself in the studio to make your contribution. Thank you. Alex, how are you?
Oh, very fine, Lucas.
Yes. I'm sorry we opened so many, but we can still talk anyway.
Sure.
There are people who are finding difficult to observe. They want to hear everything. So, wanashangaa wakue huko ama wakue the other side.
Well, they have to choose. I chose to be here, and I'm going to be here.
Sawa, niambie, have you absorbed the shock and moved on?
No, it's going to take us time, and we must acknowledge it. And even Baba, I liked how Baba was honest. You see, I was even fearing to listen to Baba, but I listened to him. And Baba said it was a shock. He had to take all his family to an island in Zanzibar, and they spent time there, and they have come back because it was shocking. So when you hear Baba himself say it was shocking, it means some of us who are still in the house needs to take a vacation so we can heal. You can't heal while you are in the same place. So if you have money, just go out somewhere and heal, because you're not going to heal by being in the house. This was a shocker. You know. So I came in because of that guy in Mbudia. Mbudia, I don't know what economics he did. And whatever he was saying there is not very, very true. And I wish he was here so that I can let him understand. For sustainable subsidies to help, they must be dual. You cannot negate one and think the other one will help. Now, I want to give an example of US and India. In the US, farmers are highly subsidized. Wheat farmers, corn farmers, and all those farmers that you see. And that's why you find farmers have big equipments, and even they are given the best seats. And you will find agricultural manpower and managerial coming even in their farms to give them advice on how to do farming. But at the same time, Wekesa, you realize in the Congress, we have one of the best food subsidies called food stamps, WICs. They are on different levels. For children, it's called WICs. All children food is subsidized. For the poor people, we have something called food stamp. A gallon of milk, which is like 3 liters of milk. In the US, if without being subsidized, it could be selling at $10. $10. More than what? More than petrol and more than diesel. But the government has done what? Subsidized it because they know that food is very important. In economics, 3 things are very important: food, shelter, and clothing, because those are the primary goods. So when you are taking out, Wekesa, subsidies of food for the poor people, and then you give money to people who owns the means of production, with the intention that eventually we are going to have enough food, and that food is going to be enough and the prices are going to fall down. Remember, we have middle cartels who have been disturbing us. The problem that we have been having in Kenya is not that we don't have enough food. The problem that we have been having is that the middle cartels are the ones who have been hiding the food so that the prices remain high. So in India, we have shops that are specifically for poor people, that you go and buy unga in less than 10 rupees. But when you are not poor, you go to a shop and a supermarket that is not for poor people, whereby you buy the same unga for 70 to 80 rupees. So for Ruto to come and say that we don't need to subsidize something like unga, which is a basic need, I think that is bad economics. So I think Mbudia came here and lied to us, and that's why I came here to deconstruct him that kind of economics that Ruto is playing is not sustainable. In the end, if the food prices will rise, and we have seen in other countries, that's a recipe for a revolution. That's a recipe for a revolution. Thank you, Wekesa.
I also wanted to ask now if the problem is the cartels, because his argument was we gave out 7 billion and even the 100 Bobunga never reached people. So the problem was not the subsidy. The problem was the cartels which were handling the subsidy. So if we are unable to deal with cartels of milling farms, are we going to are we going to deal with the cartels of that supply fertilizer and whatever, everything? Because all these things comes through a process. So we cannot shy away from handling people who are misappropriating the subsidy and then think that those who will handle the fertilizer and the farm inputs will be lenient to us. I think we have to make a choice. If we have to deal with cartels, deal with them. But we cannot make an excuse that since we have the millers who did not provide the subsidy that we needed for the UNGA, therefore we call for the whole process of buying fertilizer and farm inputs and making our prices cheap. I think for the first time I've seen, and that's why he was running away also from the question, did that show up in your campaign? Because your promise was, in first 100 days, we will bring down UNGA to 7 shillings. And that should stay like that. Otherwise, We can also argue that Uhuru was right when he focused on building infrastructure, because all these things add up together. But you guys told us that Tukuli Barabara, which means you needed some immediate interventions, of which now you are running away and you've become sober, and now you are going for the whole process, which you negated in the time of campaigns. Give to Menda Wapi.
Niko hapa.
Yes, you know your name is a sentence, so I struggle to mention it.
No, actually, I'm
A
done at the point
paragraph. In fact, he has more than one sentence. He has a full stop, then you begin again.
Well, Paul, but I wanted to comment on two things. I wanted to tie them together, and it's that from the little economics I know, it's that this country usually survives on two economies, on two very important, should I call them vote heads, or I don't know what I should call them, but Kenya depends so much on fuel, and then two, we depend so much on food. From what I gather when people talk, and during the campaigns, UDA really took advantage of these two, because one of the promises that UDA people gave that was very appealing to everybody was when they said fuel should retail at 100 shillings. It became a very big thing. It was very appealing. And then they went to Unga and they said Unga should retail a 2 kg bag, should retail at 70 shillings. So for me, that was a big catch. People in Central, people at Coast, people in Meru, even those who don't plant maize, but at least even those who eat waru and michele, at least in their mix of that, they have got ugali. So for our president again to come up and say that he wants to have a long-term plan so that the subsidy for unga is removed, and then that amount is invested in the manufacture of fertilizer, which will be sold to us at a lower price. I think it's betrayal, because it goes back to what he was saying, that we have the politics of deceit. So yeye alikuwa anasema Azimio are full of deception, they are conmen, they are this and that. What is that? Kama hiyo sio conmanship ni nini, if that is not the politics of deceit? Because he says one thing, then he's doing another. Unaona? Then mambo ya unga. Okay. It's not that we don't have enough food in this country. We have enough food, and the only problem that we have is, and I think it's for watu ambao wako mijini. When you go to the villages, those people have got cassava, they have got sorghum, they have got fruits they can eat, they have got sugarcane they can chew. It's only in the cities that we have this problem biting, because we have to get it from the supermarkets. So I think the UDA government is not genuine, is not sincere, they're not honest with themselves. And I also don't want to think that what Mbugua said is true, that it's probably the economist Ndi who has advised the president like that. I think this is a script that is coming in the middle of things, because they are now thinking well. Wakati ule ilikuwa ni uongo. And I really pity the border borders in my village. I pity the border borders in your village, because they were cheated big. Sasa saizi ndio wameanza kujua ya kwamba you don't just wake up to begin to do things. Mafuta, for example, talk of diesel, talk of petroleum. It is manufactured elsewhere. in the Arab nations. For somebody of the Ruto's caliber, surely, to come up and lie to the whole nation saying mafuta itaenda chini, as if it's produced here in the country. Hata hii ambayo iko hapa Turkana, sijui kuna kiasi gani hapo. So I think it's wrong, it's deceitful, it's bad, but again, that's where we are. So we only wait to see what is going to happen. But I think we are going to, yes, they lied to hustlers and Mamboga, and they were lied to, of course. And all of us, of course, are hustlers. Everybody is a hustler, because whether you are a manager or you are a CEO, you are working. A hustler is somebody who works. Yes, somebody who sweats. And whether you are an IT specialist or a pastor or an administrator or a politician, all of us are hustlers. We are all working to see that we make the ends meet. So, Ben, that's what I wanted to say. I want to get my supper now.
Thank you. So I wanted to say for the rest of our viewers, we will continue with one channel. For those who have been getting confused, we have the other studio opened by Bernard. So we want to transfer all of you to one side so that we can continue up to the morning.
Okay.
We appreciate for those who have been following up. We were sorry to have two links, although sometimes we normally do it when we have different programs. But when it's one program, we prefer to have one link.
Okay.
It's only viable if we are having different programs dealing with different issues. But for political platform, dealing with current affairs, we normally prefer to have one link. So we will all transfer to the other side where Bernard is, and we continue from there. Thank you so much for those who have followed us through the comment section, and then those who came to the studio to make their presentation.
Okay.
Have a lovely night. Tukutane the other side of the studio.
Okay. Okay.
Are we going to leave?